Well, hello again there, YouTube. It's Pete Two Finger. Beautiful weather here in Chicago, and this is what I've been doing while I'm working on getting these batteries charged up while I'm putting this play along with petey video together. It's the second video in this style that I've done, and I made a theme music. Play along with petey. There's a theme song. Usually if I make a theme song, that means it's going to be a really limited series of videos, and it'll be something I'll do for like about a week, do like 2 of them, and then it'll disappear. How can you tell if a PD series of videos is doomed to never be repeated? It has a theme song. So in the last video, I talked a real lot about the creative process and kind of how the song's sequence or the backing track ended up coming in to be what it is. The other part of that story I've told before on this channel. I've shared a lot of music on my social media, and typically people do not comment on it. When my wife shared a particular song, it got a real positive response, and then other people started coming in. It seems like it takes one person to initially say something, and then maybe other people will not feel so bad about doing it. Again, it's really, really hard for me to judge, and this messes with me beyond all ends. I start to think, man, my music really sucks. Like it's horribly embarrassing, and I should never be doing this. So, is it healthy to be sharing this stuff? Probably not. Long story short, we did get comments on a particular video, and I examined it. I went in and looked. What's the difference? And there were keyboards in the accompaniment. Normally I try to just use drums. We had some people over here, they saw us playing. We were using MIDI drums at the time. We were all singing, all 3 of us. And the person said, "Oh, I see what you're doing here. It's karaoke." Anyway, I've got this like complex about that, about playing to backing tracks. It's not a complex, it's just a realistic way of looking at it, because doing that is very amateurish. It's something you would see in a like an Italian restaurant, that they bring in some guitar virtuoso guy in the afternoon on Saturday to do his gig, where he plays flamenco style that nobody cares about over some MIDI accompaniment. That type of thing, you know what I mean? It's like whenever there's canned music, the musicians are not that good. So that being what it is, and the reality of my existence, I just kind of have to face up to it. So you end up with me realizing, hey, people like this song, there was keyboards in it, let's do more songs with keyboards. So that's where I'm at for now. The season is officially going to begin. Coming up on Saturday, we're going out. We're going to be shooting video. We're going to be playing our guitars to this canned music. And hopefully I'll be uploading some of that stuff Sunday or Monday. There should be an upload. And I'm excited. We've got 24 songs, new songs. 2 of them are a little older. But I don't think you guys are familiar with these 2 songs. Really don't think so. Anyway, as far as the production on this one goes, I had went on this tangent in the video I made yesterday, the first play along video. The song's called Last Laugh, and I would encourage you to check that out. Really, you should be playing your guitar or whatever instrument along with this backing track. I'm not telling you, you have to, but in my mind, these videos work when people play along. Let's play along with Petey. That's the video. So in yesterday's video, I was going on and on about how sometimes in my mind the song is just fine with just drums, bass, and guitar. You don't need any keyboards, you don't need any sound effects. Well, I started hearing piano, and then that led to throwing sound effects at it. And I know, I get it. When you're putting bass drops on every one of the song, it begins to sound like a Michael Bay movie trailer, or the Asylum version of a Michael Bay movie trailer more appropriately describes this effect. So on Baby Duckie, I have this device called a new XMG30, which is a guitar multi-effect amp and cabinet simulator. And one of the effects on the unit, which was not really, it needed work. They're doing firmware updates, which is they release this little bit of software, you blast it into the, you hook up your guitar multi-effect to the USB and blast this data file into the multi-effect. It takes like 20 minutes to load. And then this is how they release the unit, and it's not really finished. And they use the community and the Facebook fan page to get people to beta test the unit for free and find out where all the bugs are. So they report, hey, when I use this British 2000 amp, if I set the volume over 74, it starts woofing out or some unusual distortion. So then they put this on their list and they give it to the programming engineer, and he figures out how to improve that. One of the effects that they were working on was the auto wah. So this is kind of a quack quack, like a wah wah sound, kind of like there's a quacky nurse, quacky. There's sometimes people will use ducks to market this to you. So as I was putting this song together and this update came out, the patch that I had selected to use on this song, the patch I had built to use on this new piece, I tried the auto wah. They had fixed it. So I tried it out, and then that led to, this is what came first, the duck or the egg. I almost think I named this Little Duck because I had seen a video of a orphan baby duck the day before. And then the next day this happened with this firmware update, and I'm like, oh, I should use, since this song is called Little Duck, and I know that firmware update has this auto wah in it, let me put those two things together. So more than likely you'll hear an auto wah on this song. I gotta see. I might engage that in the intro and outro. For this song, I'm not going to be playing along and letting you guys hear my guitar part that I wrote for it. If you go back and watch Last Laugh, I play it. I talk about this song and I play the riff. Now, I would encourage you to just experience the video, grab your guitar, tune it up to A440 and play in G, and enjoy yourself, have a bit of a time, and then hopefully I can get a decent version of this Saturday when we go out and play remote. So then Sunday or Monday there should be a video. And that, you know, I will try. The thing is it's our newest song. So it's not the easiest thing for me to play considering my handicap. You know, it is a little rolly in there, and I've got to kind of jam these two together, and I can get that about 90% of the time. The other 10%, I'm not getting it. So Is there going to be a good version of Baby Duckie? Is this going to ruin my trip out? Because I said this, I don't want it to. So there's a chance. There's a 90%, a 10% chance, let's say that. There's a 10% chance that you're going to get to hear this. But by the end of the summer, the cat will be out of the bag. Anyway, you guys, yes, I know there's way too much sound effect. One of my regulars made a comment about me using the wacky sound effects. Yes, I get it. That's where I'm going with this. I'm doing it to it. It's gonna sound like you're listening. You're in an arcade. There's so much sound effects going off, or a casino. How does that sound? Have you ever been in a casino? I haven't. I've seen video of it, and it's just like this sound of all thousands of gambling machines doing their electronic thing, and it becomes something else. And it's one of the worst torturous audio events. So, no apologies as far as me throwing all these Michael Bay bass drops. You can find me on YouTube looking for videos of free dubstep, like stuff that's like 10 years past its prime. Downlifters, that's one for you. Give me that downlifter pack sound effects. Doesn't even make sense. So I hope you enjoyed the second and final episode of Play Along with Petey. How about that theme song? I think the theme song is better than the play along. Anyway, you guys, wish me luck. Poor Gumpty, she just let me know last night at like 1 a.m. And she's pissed at me too, because I pulled an all-nighter and built this EQ, and she was 2 hours late to work at her new job, which never happens. So I got to be a good boy. I got to stay on a good schedule, and hopefully Friday night, I'll be able to sleep. Usually the first time out of the season, I can't sleep. And then I'm like all jet laggy, and it kind of ruins, like I don't realize how humid it is in June in Chicago. And it'll be like 85, and I was just pouring sweat. But it is what it is. I'm blessed that I'm alive in this time when this technology is available. Like we paid $54 for the amp board for our PA, which it's like when I was a kid, like a PA, it like you had to go, and I remember my singer, his parents took him to some place and they like financed a PA, and it was a Toa with it had 4-inch drivers, and it was real scream. It was a treble cannon and a little thing with a spring reverb unit on, like 60 watts per channel. It was more like 30 watts. And he would turn this thing all the way up, and it would feed back. I think he had a Digitech, so it was chorusing, and it was just like this was his PA. Anyway, what we have here smokes that. And it was like, $50 for the amp board, like another $50 for the hardware, and the mixer, we paid $20 for it to build this into a box with the MP3 board, and then $100, I think it was $120 for the speakers. So it's like, it's not even $300. So I am super blessed when I see people crapping on digital. The good old days are now, is what I'm getting at. Now, what you're going to see, I read this in a tape op, and there's a guy in a barn who makes these videos where he hates digital. And he's running, he uses a white noise generator and puts white noise on his tracks. Everything the guy records sounds like a Steely Dan demo. And it does have a sound to it. I mean, I'm not here to say that doesn't sound good, but the day I start putting noise, actually I did yesterday. The beginnings of these tracks, I like having rumble, like a low end rumble, and wind noise, just so it doesn't sound so sterile and empty when we're coming in with the, all the bass drops for the 4 count. Pew, 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 pew. Anyway, my prediction for the future, what you're going to see is a trend in home recording studios is bouncing stuff to cassette decks, bouncing stuff to VHS tapes, adding white noise, running stuff through a phone, recording drums on boombox and then compensating because the motor lags. All this type of sonic demolition derby games that people are going to begin playing just because it's the hip thing to do. And the one guy, and forgive me for rambling, but I'm talking, this is recording techniques, and I think this is, aren't we all interested in this stuff? I mean, it's cool, right? The guy that I'm talking about, I cannot remember his name. He owns this company called Love My Switches. Now, Love My Switches used to be called Bitches Love My Switches. And he has a recording project, Foam Fingers of Shame. Anyway, that guy, I sent him my stuff, and he, because I really liked his recordings. I really did. And we come from 2 totally different. He's really punk, and his but very musical. His production has that dirt. It has that filth all over it. And he said, yeah, well, it sounds fine, but it's sterile. It's digital sounding to me. And he said, try putting a mic in the room, playing the song, and record the room noise of it, and then play with that. He said, just for starters. And I was like, man, that's I gotta start trying stuff like that. And the thing about it is I'm just too lazy, and I live in an apartment. So if you're out there and you record music, there's a tip for you. Put some kind of pencil, old crappy Radio Shack mic up in the room, capture the room noise, and bleed that back into your track. And Bob's your uncle. First time I heard someone say that was in this movie called The World's Fastest Indian. And if you haven't seen that movie, you should. It's got Hannibal Lecter in it, and he plays a boffin, or a motorcycle mechanic, fix-all type of genius guy. And it's a great, great, great movie. So I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for joining me for the second episode, Play Along with Petey, Baby Duckie. And look for the Baby Duckie to actually drop, hopefully soon. Anyway, you guys, try to stay cool, hug your pets, and peace.
Sleepin.